Hello, everybody. Hello, and thank you so much for joining tonight. I'm so excited to be here tonight because I have a few guests that are waiting in the waiting room to come and give their testimony. But before I do that part, I am going to let you know why we're here. We are here tonight because we want to tell the world about metabolic switching. And we want you to learn tonight how you are going to be able to switch from being a sugar burner to being a fat burner. In fact, we can turn you into a metabolic fat burning machine if you just stick around. We have a little bit of training, a little bit of slides to go through, and I'm organized and I'm going to jump right into it because I really do appreciate you paying me with your time tonight. So, did you know that we are in the beginning, or in the middle of, I should say, of global epidemic crisis, and nobody's talking about it? You can go to the doctor, they don't even test you for different things such as insulin resistance. So if you see on this chart on the left here, you'll see that insulin resistance is at the core of all of these different health issues. Insulin resistance is already present 5, 10, 15 years before you would be getting a type 2 diabetes diagnosis, for example. Perhaps even before your blood pressure goes up, you're already insulin resistant. If you are in the category of being overweight to the point of obesity, that is insulin resistance. I was 5'3", which I still am, and 172 pounds. And that put me in the category of being obese. Can you believe that? If you have fatty liver disease, which 25% of American adults have, you have insulin resistance. PCOS, polycystic ovarian syndrome, which is the leading reason why women who are trying to get pregnant cannot conceive. That is insulin resistance of the ovaries. And there's also ED in men. There's migraines, Alzheimer's, dementia, heart disease, okay? Insulin resistance is at the core of all of these outlying health issues. And it's global. Depending on which country you live in, between 85 and 93% of the population of that country, of the adults, are insulin resistant. Now, the reason why you don't hear much of this is because insulin resistance is not typically tested in your medical system. Now, some places in the US, you can go and get a fasting insulin test. Where we are in Canada, you cannot. You can beg your doctor, but they won't do it. And the reason why is there is no medication that can reverse your insulin resistance. The only way to reverse it is to do it naturally. And if you follow doctors such as Dr. Benjamin Bickman, and there's many other medical, scientific, metabolic health doctors that will tell you there's really only a few things you can do to reverse your insulin resistance. So Dr. Benjamin Bickman is arguably one of the world's leading scientists in metabolic health, and he wrote the book on it. He wrote the book, Why We Get Sick. I would love to recommend to anybody watching, read the book or listen to the book, get it on a podcast, or go to YouTube and type in Benjamin Bickman. And you will find he's got a myriad of different videos that he has done, as well as an interview that he did with Diary of a CEO. It's phenomenal. You will learn so much about your health and find out why we get sick. Now, before I get into explaining exactly what insulin resistance is and how we can reverse it, the first thing I want to say is there are some questions that we should be asking ourselves in the day and age that we live in. And to me, there were two questions that I was asking. If we are living in 2026 and we are more technologically advanced than we were even in 2025, and if we are spending billions of dollars per year globally in research for things such as Alzheimer's, type 2 diabetes, stroke, Parkinson's, okay, kidneys, liver. Like, we are spending the money on research, yet why are we the sickest generation to ever walk the face of the earth? Have you ever asked that question? Why? Or how about why this? The rate of diabetes has quadrupled since 1990. Guys, these are things you can look up on Google right now, okay? Quadrupled since 1990, okay? Diabetes medications came out in 1995. So how's that working for us, right? It's not working. We're getting sicker. And the other question we need to ask ourselves is, how come for the first time in recorded history, since after the time of Noah, why do our children have a shorter life expectancy than the adults? How come? Don't you think we should be learning to live longer in a happy, healthy body with all of the technology and all of the research? Wouldn't that make sense? But it's not. We are becoming sicker and sicker and sicker. And the good news tonight is you're going to find out how you can get better, basically. Okay. So I want to show you this one slide here. And this is going to explain a little bit about what insulin resistance is and how we get it in the first place. Okay. So let's look at this guy where it says hunger and cravings. He's like, I want to eat something. Okay. So now he's like, okay, I'm going to eat. So he's eating like a cheeseburger, fries, and a Diet Coke. So you might say to me, Arlie, I'm not having that for lunch. And I'd be like, well, good for you. I'm very happy because neither am I. But here's my question. What are you going to have? Maybe you're going to have a ham and Swiss on rye. Maybe you're going to have one of my favorites, bacon and eggs and toast. Or your famous chicken teriyaki stir fry on rice, or the pasta that you made last night that was so yummy. Okay. We have a high carb diet in the world that we live in, which we'll get into in a second. But every time we eat, it's going to cause glucose, which is sugar, to go into the bloodstream. Okay. Then our brain triggers our pancreas to create some insulin. Insulin is now going to come out, grab that glucose out of the blood, and store it into the cells in the form of energy. And insulin is going to act like the key to open up the cell to store that glucose as energy. And that is all fine and dandy, and that is the perfect thing because that's how God made our bodies to operate. But here's the problem. We have been spending, say, 5, 10, 15, 20, 40 years possibly eating a highly processed food diet. Okay, the chips and the pizza and the pastas and the fries and the Smarties and the pretzels, okay, and the breads and the pastas and the rice. They're high carbohydrate, they're highly processed foods, and we haven't been eating enough of the natural foods. Anything from the ground and your fresh meats and fish, okay? So that is one cause of insulin resistance. Now, the second cause is eating too often, okay? So if you look at this chart here, this person is eating breakfast, lunch, snack, dinner, and a snack. They're eating 5 times a day, okay? Now, you might say, okay, that seems about average. They're saying that the average person possibly has between 7 and 11 glucose spikes every single day. Because you have to count that latte that you're having. You have to count the banana that you're eating on the way to work. You have to count the 5 pretzels that you grab from the staff room counter. Every single time you eat something, that causes a glucose spike. In your brain, that's a meal. That's a spike, okay? So here's 5 spikes a day. Now, I want to show you the insulin response to those 5 spikes, okay? So you get up in the morning, your insulin's nice and low, okay? Insulin's really low. You're at fasting. You haven't eaten probably since before bed last night. And so insulin comes out, tries to bring down the glucose spike from your breakfast, okay? But it can't because you're eating your lunch. And then you're having a snack. And then you're having dinner. And then you're having another snack. So if you look at the green line up there, you are going to see that your insulin is high all day long. Insulin is our fat storage hormone, okay? So once we become insulin resistant and our cells are like, okay, I have had enough here, you're just going to have to put that energy somewhere else. And so the insulin is basically saying to us, okay, sure, no problem. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to store a little bit in your liver. You might get fatty liver though, just saying. And I'm going to store a little bit more of it into your subcutaneous fat, okay, which is the fat that you can pinch. And I've got plenty of room in your visceral fat storage. And I'm going to store a whole bunch of fat around your organs. And that's how you're going to bulk up. All right. So that's how we also gain weight. Now, we have a solution that nobody's talking about. Okay. And before I go to that solution, I want to, I just want to just segue a little bit, and I'm going to pass by here, and I'm just going to go to my little story because a lot of you may not know what I've gone through. I'm going to tell my story first. Okay. I'm an older mom. I gave birth the year I turned 44 and 47. And I always kind of joke. And I say that my last baby, my son, he was born on my last viable egg. And then I went straight into menopause. And I was basically overweight for the last 11 years. And, you know, don't let this smile fool you that I have on my face. I'm waking up in the morning exhausted. I'm dragging my butt through the day. I'm caffeinating myself so that I have energy to go and do all the things and keep all the balls up in the air. And then in December of 2024, I did my blood work and my doctor says, okay, now you're a type 2 diabetic and you need to start taking medication. So I said to the doctor, I don't want to do that. I have diabetics in my household. I've been dealing with insulin resistance and diabetes for a very long time. I know that this can be reversed naturally, and I have to just give me the time to do it myself. And so I told my doctor, just give me 6 months. Okay. So I want you to know that I started to do metabolic switching, which I'm about to describe to you. I started a simple 3-step program, which I'm going to share with you. Okay. And within 90 days, okay, I went back and redid my blood work. My A1C went from 6.1 down to 5.0. My triglycerides dropped by 56%. I was able to raise my HDL, which is the good cholesterol that you want to raise up. And I had dropped 22 pounds. I went back to my doctor. She couldn't believe what happened. And then I showed her what I was using, which was even listed in her own PDR.net, which is the physician's desk reference. And it's all plants and it's all natural. It's not a pharmaceutical. It's a nutraceutical with a protocol. And she was like, wow, I'm really surprised that this is a thing. I never even knew about it. And she told me, Arlie, you keep doing what you're doing because you have not been this healthy in decades. She's been my doctor since 1990. Okay. So I wanted to let you know what my transformation has been. I've lost now a total of 32 pounds. Okay. And my energy has come back in spades. Like I literally feel like I did when I was a missionary to Uganda and India when I was in my early 30s. All right. So now I do have my friends waiting, but friends, bear with me for just a moment. I want to get into what we're doing, and then I'm going to bring you up. Okay. So this is the 3-step reset, which is the solution that no one is talking about. Okay. So this is what we do. And I'm going to explain it right now. We're going to wake up in the morning, and instead of grabbing our breakfast, we are going to sip this tea. Okay. This tea comes in this little stick pack. It's very simple to make. I'm sipping one right now. It's very delicious. It tastes like a tart iced tea. If you're in the US, it comes in many flavors. In Canada, we just have the lemon, and we're fine with that. Now, this tea is made of the yerba mate plant. Inside, this is a very high amount of chlorogenic acid. You can look that up. You can see that's probably one of the best things that you can take, okay? I love 5 things about this tea. Very simple. Number 1, it takes my mind off food, okay? I can easily fast until 12 and I don't get hungry. It helps my gut create more GLP-1 naturally. There's no GLP-1 in here. There's nothing synthetic in here. This is 100% plants. Number 2, it regulates my blood sugar so that I don't crash, okay? A lot of people get hangry because they're having a low blood sugar episode. It keeps your blood sugars regulated. Number 3, it makes your cells become more insulin sensitive, which is what you want. Number 4, there's a component in it called theobromine, and that's like the same thing that is in dark chocolate. So it enhances your gut's ability to create a little bit more of the serotonin and the dopamine, which basically, those are your happy hormones. Puts you in a really good mood, okay? And then number 5, it has a slow released caffeine, a very gentle caffeine, but it gives you really nice, stable energy. I can't drink coffee. It gives me the jitters, but this is a very slow released, and it keeps your energy stable for a good 4 hours. Okay. So what we're doing here is we're getting up in the morning and we're sipping this instead of eating breakfast. And then we're going to break our fast at 12. We're going to eat our great big, beautiful lunch and enjoy it. Okay. God gave us taste buds for a reason. He wants us to enjoy our food. And if you could see the insulin response, the insulin is low all the way till 12. When your insulin is low, you are burning stored fat as fuel. Okay. This is part of that metabolic switching. We're switching into fat burning. Then we're staying in fat burning until 12. Then we're eating our lunch. Our insulin's coming up. Okay. And then it's going to start being able to come back down because we're skipping our afternoon snack. So what we do, we're going to get a little bit hungry between 12 and 6. We're not going to be snacking. We're going to take another tea. Okay. So this comes with 1 tea in the morning, 1 tea in the afternoon. We can easily get to dinner time. Now, if you notice, our insulin has come back down now so that we are starting our dinner at a baseline, as opposed to what I showed you here. You're starting your dinner, you're already high. Okay. You're starting your dinner at a baseline. And when you do that and you eat your big, beautiful dinner, your insulin is going to come back down before bed, because we're also going to skip snacking after dinner. Now, if you want to have a dessert, you're going to have it at the top end of that glucose spike, okay? So we are going to eat in proper food order. If you want to know what the food order is, just comment food order in the chat of wherever you're watching this, and we will reach out to you and let you know what that is. This, there is one more component to the protocol, the 3-step reset. The first one is we're going to intermittent fast, and we're not going to snack between lunch and dinner. The second one is we're going to drink the yerba mate tea at breakfast and in the afternoon. The third step of the 3-step is we're going to supplement our most carb-heavy meal with fiber. This is a medical grade fiber matrix, and there are 7 different plant fibers in here. This is going to feed your good gut biome, and it's going to help push out the bad. Okay, so that is it. That's all I did. Those are the only changes I made in order to gain the results that I gained. So what we want to do now is I want to bring in the lovely Jennifer. right now. We're going to add her to the stage. Here she is. Jennifer lives in Florida, and she has had amazing results with the protocol. So Jennifer, please let me know how it's been for you.
Well, Arlie, thank you so much for having me this evening. You know, before I learned about this three-step reset, excuse me, I was dealing with high cholesterol, menopausal symptoms, as you can see in my photo, highly inflamed, weight gain. Arlie, I tried to make that stuff go away. I just couldn't do it. High cholesterol, insomnia, anxiety, depression, and PTSD. You know, Arlie, I'm 51, so we're in the golden 50s. And when before I started this system, I was miserable. I did not understand why, if we're hitting the golden years of our lives, why I felt like garbage. And, you know, when my friend Susan had reached out to me about the three-step reset, you know, I was a little skeptical. I was like, what do you mean? How is this going to help? And, you know, my inclination to start this was for my high cholesterol. I was on a statin, insomnia meds. I was also on anxiety, depression medication for 16 years.
Wow.
And I didn't want to have to be dependent any longer. You know, I wanted to get my cholesterol to where it needed to be. And it seems that every time I'd go see a medical professional, it was another medication. There was no root cause discussion ever. And when I started the system, you know, in my photo there, you can see I was 161 pounds. I had the spare tire around the middle. I was a carb girl, loved my carbs, did not know what food order was. Thought that a pan of mac and cheese was food order. Also, you know, I'd go to the Buck Stars. I'd have a whole bunch of caffeinated products all day long, like you. You know, I'm a caregiver of two to my parents, both with cognitive decline. You know, my brain fog was outrageous. You know, Arlie, I was putting their appointments on the wrong day and the wrong week. And when you have 80-year-old people and they're counting on you, and I at that time I was letting them down because I could not keep my thoughts together. I started the system 3 months in. You know, I got the okay for my medical professional to get off my anxiety meds, off of my depression meds, high cholesterol meds. My numbers were good. I wasn't having those crashes you were talking about, you know, where my insulin was high all the time and going up and down and up and down. You know, I've lost 39 pounds.
That's amazing.
That's what I'm saying. In that photo, my now photo, that's the body shape I had in high school, everybody.
Wow.
I actually feel good in my skin.
That's amazing.
I never thought in my 50s, and you'll have to excuse me, Arlie, but I feel sexy for the first time in 30 years. Okay.
Jennifer's got her groove back, everybody.
I have my groove back.
There she goes.
Because when I look at that other photo, yeah, I'm smiling. I was happy. I was with my daughter. But on the inside, I did not feel pretty. I did not feel comfortable.
I get
You know,
it.
if you notice that the shirt was very big.
Yeah.
It was hanging. I was hiding.
Yep.
I don't hide. If you see that now picture, I'm not hiding.
Nope. No, that's amazing. Well, thank you so much for sharing. You know, when you go to the doctor in your 50s and, you know, you've got 40 pounds to lose, they basically, you know, they're basically telling you, well, unless you use the injections, it's really difficult to lose weight in your 50s. Well, maybe it's difficult, but it's not impossible. And if you do what we're talking about, it doesn't take very long. No. It's more simple than you probably could ever imagine. I think that is the hardest thing sometimes for us to kind of let people understand, that it's simple. Time is on your side. It's only a matter of time, because you're going to be tapping into those fat stores, which is exactly what you've done there, Jennifer.
Yes.
So Well, wonderful. Thank you so much for joining today. And I will be so happy to have you on again next time.
I appreciate you, Arlie. Thank you for having
Thank
me.
you. You're welcome. Okay, I will be bringing you up in a moment, Christine. But what I wanted to find out right now is, just in case we have some friends watching who have husbands that are, suffering. I wanted to let everyone know this isn't just a women's natural protocol here. I want you to meet my friend John real quick. And John had to start this 3-step reset while he couldn't even walk. Okay. He had a foot ulcer that was caused from complications with his type 2 diabetes that he had for over 20 years. And so he's like, well, what have I got to lose? I can't even walk right now. And so he started the protocol from a lazy boy chair. He dropped 50 pounds in his first couple of months. And now, a year later, he's lost 100 pounds. He's off all of his diabetes medication, and he feels like he's living again. I'm really happy for John. He is an absolute great guy. And so I just wanted to let you know about some of our other men here. We also have our friend Jimmy. Jimmy was suffering from everything on the list metabolically when it comes to insulin resistance. If you look at his face, look at him. He doesn't even have a thyroid. All right. He was able to reverse his type 2 diabetes and his non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. He also had high blood pressure. Like, he named them all. He was not a healthy guy. Okay. He's lost 88 pounds. And now he's off 8 of his medications. So for any women watching and you have a brother, an uncle, a dad, a husband, this is definitely for them too. Okay. So now, who do we have here? There we go. We've got Christine. I'm going to invite Christine up here. Christine. Hi. Thank you so much for waiting on backstage for me. Christine is my friend. She's my customer, and she lives in Montreal, Quebec. So Christine isn't a partner. She is a customer who has had amazing results, both her and her husband. And so Christine, please let me know what you were suffering from before you started this reset and how your life is now for both you and Emmy.
Well, I just want to say that the last year I turned 60, and absolutely in the month of March, exactly a year ago, I decided, came across a video on TikTok. I was watching it and I saw, I think it was Dr. Kenny, he was talking, and I started to listen to that. And I found that really interesting because I found that there was a lot of science-backed information. And I said, you know what, I'm going to try this. I don't have anything to lose. There is a money back guarantee for like 90-day money back guarantee. Yeah. And I said, I'm going to do it. And when I did it and I started to lose weight, I was losing the weight. My husband decided, oh, if you're going to lose weight, maybe I should do it too, because he wanted to lose weight. And so about in the 3rd month, he joined me, and we continued. And the result, I'm not going to repeat everything because you guys spoke about a lot of the procedure, but I did lose 35 pounds up to date. I didn't even know I had fatty liver until I went to see my doctor, and he told me, oh, you don't have a fatty liver anymore. I said, but you never told me I had one. And he's, anyways. So do you see how that is? So no more inflammation, and inflammation was mainly in my gut. So when I would take any kind of supplements, I had a hard time absorbing these supplements because they weren't working. They were not being absorbed. So if I took vitamin D, if I took anything, it just wasn't giving the effect I needed. So this protocol really helped my gut. And by helping my gut, it helped a lot of other areas. And like for my husband, he just wanted to lose weight, but actually he removed his gout pills. He was on them for, I would say, over 15 years. He doesn't take them anymore. He was scared at first, so he gradually started removing them, and that was it. He removed them, and he hasn't had any flare-ups, nothing for over a year.
Wow.
And he used to take an extra blood pressure pill at night, which he no longer takes. So we still have a little bit of ways to go. I still have some weight to lose. I'm not at my optimal level yet. And him too. He'd like to lose a little bit more. And yes, we'd like to get off of the blood pressure meds, which he has. And as for myself, I'm going to go and do another checkup. So I'm going to see where I stand with all my markers.
Perfect.
So I think it just depends on everybody, because everybody's body is different. So everybody, you have to be persistent, and you can't just say, oh, in 90 days, it didn't do anything for me. No, it did. It started to do something, but maybe it's not what your ultimate goal is. You have to continue, because it took me maybe 40 years to put on this weight. Maybe it's going to take me more than a year to take it off. So I'm optimistic, and you have to continue, because you have you have to continue, because you only have one body, you only have one health, and you got to take care of yourself. Because if you can't take care of yourself, you can't take care of anybody else. That's what
Exactly. And you know what's really wonderful about even just being partway through on your journey is you get to reap the benefits of that. You've lost 35 pounds. You've lost more weight than I have. Okay. I've lost 32
but do you
pounds.
See?
Yeah, but you get to reap the benefits. It's not like, there's no benefits whatsoever until you reach your goal.
No, absolutely.
Right?
And I've always been high energy, but now I'm even more high energy.
There you go. Good.
So that's
wonderful.
I mean, that's a good thing for me, but my husband says you have too much energy. But anyways, so that's my story. And what I like to tell everybody who's watching tonight, you should really try it. Even if you don't think that you have an issue, try it just to see how it could benefit you. And you'd probably think that maybe that little, I don't know, I don't sleep at night, or that little thing that you have anxiety, you think that has nothing to do with metabolic health, but it does. Because what I learned is that your gut is your second brain. And when your gut is not working properly, lots of things go wrong in the body.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Christine.
Thank you very much.
Joining. I really appreciate you having on, and I hope to have you back on again soon in the future.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to switch over to some other slides here. Let's see where I am. And we're going to now go to, I talked to you about why we're taking the Unimate while we're fasting. And I wanted to touch a little bit more on the fiber, just real quick here, because there has been many different clinical studies on both the tea and the fiber. And if you want to nerd out with me, you can go to unicityscience.org and you can find all of the clinical studies that have already been done. Now, one of the ones that I've highlighted here on my slide is the study that was done by the University of Sydney, Australia. They are the same university that created the glycemic index. And they studied this fiber with feeding people white bread. Okay? So they gave them white bread without the fiber, and then they gave them white bread with the fiber, and they found that it blunted the glucose spike by 20 to 28%. Okay? So if you could imagine this, let's say before your dinner, this is your most carb-heavy meal maybe of your day, is your dinner, or it could be your lunch, but let's just say before dinner, you drank this, and that red glucose spike was brought down by 28%. What does that mean? It means that 28% less insulin is secreted by the pancreas. Insulin is your fat storage hormone. So then you're having less insulin needed to digest that meal and to reduce that glucose spike. So that means your insulin's going to come down that much sooner. Okay. And then you'll be back into fat burning like before bed. So if your last meal is at 6 o'clock and you're not eating again until 12 the next day, okay, look at that. That is 18 hours of fasting. Did you know that autophagy begins at 17 hours? You might even get 1 hour of autophagy in every single day. And that's when your cells begin to clear out all the cells that are not needed, and also cells that can be healed get healed. The other thing that happens in this scenario is because you're not eating snack between lunch and dinner, you're probably going to have another hour or two of fat burning in the middle of the day. So that could be, okay, you could easily be at 18 hours of fat burning, depending on when your insulin comes down at night. Now, so that is one study there. That's me. That's John. This is Jenny from Calgary, Alberta. And Jenny is in the middle of losing 100 pounds. Okay. She's halfway there. So she knows what it's like to be overweight. She's had her weight her whole adult life. And now for the first time in many years, she's carving in a waistline. Very happy with her, for her. The Cleveland Clinic also did a study on the fiber. And this is what they said. Such a product, if taken regularly, could reduce cardiovascular risk on a population basis and potentially decrease the need and or dose for lipid-lowering prescription drugs. A lipid-lowering drug is called a statin medication. That's the medication you take when you have high cholesterol issues. So fiber to reduce your LDL. The Cleveland Clinic is the United States' #1 heart hospital. Okay, you can look up that study. This picture here to the left of that is the physician's desk reference, where doctors can go to prescribe medications. This protocol is listed in there, and what they will find is that there are no side effects and no contraindications to take this alongside any medication. So what we recommend is stay on your meds under your doctor's supervision, get tested, know your blood work, know your triglycerides, your A1C, your HDL, and your blood pressure. Those are the 4 most important ones to know. And then you'll be able to see how everything is working for you. Okay. So I'm now going to go to this slide here. And this is basically what is going to summarize everything I said and why we feel that the Feel Great system is your perfect choice if you're looking for a transformation in 2026. Number 1, there are 5 patents. Nobody can copy it. Every single batch has been third-party tested. There's no herbicides, pesticides, mold, artificial colors, or flavors. They're clinically proven. The science has already been done. There's a 90-day money-back guarantee. Christine just mentioned that. You can try this protocol for 90 days. Okay? And if you're not getting the results, get a refund. That comes with an app. They ask that you use the app at least 51% of the time. And if you're not getting your results, you can ask for a refund. And why do they do that? They do that because they're bearing the risk so that you don't have to. They're doing that because they know that if you're living in 2026 in an unhealthy body, you probably already tried so many different things like I did. Maybe you tried strict dieting. Maybe you've tried hardcore workouts. Maybe you've tried injections or diet pills, okay? But nothing worked for you. Maybe you counted calories. Maybe you tried, point system, okay? You've tried everything. So they're bearing the risk for you so that you know. And this is a lot more than weight loss. We're talking about cleaning up your blood work and getting you healthy again. Measurable results in your blood work. Like I said, know all your markers and then test it again in 3 months. You'll be pleasantly surprised. These products are cost neutral. You'll actually save more money than what you'll spend on these. And so how this works is in Canada, this comes to just over $6 a day. In the US, it's just over $5 US a day. So over $6 Canadian a day, just over $5 USD a day. Okay. So if you're eliminating your breakfast, your drive-throughs, your snacks, your lattes, your Timmies, if you're eliminating those things and then instead you're sipping a tea, okay, you're saving bucks. It cost me less money to be on this protocol than it did for me to eat the way I was eating before. Okay. Free shipping and no tariffs. Free shipping. We ship to over 55 different countries around the world, and we offer free shipping. You'll never pay a single tariff on this product. And they are also Health Canada approved. Do you know that in Canada, it's extremely hard to get something nutraceutical Health Canada approved, but these are. And as I mentioned, they're listed in the physician's desk reference in the pdr.net. Okay. So if you want to get some results and have a transformation in 2026, what I'd like you to do is you can reach out to the person who shared this video with you. This might be streamed from my profile to theirs, or you might get it on a YouTube link or whatever it is. Reach out to the person who sent it to you. You can get results like Ro, whose A1C that was over 14 went down to 5.9. Okay. You'll be able to see results like this, like my friend Kaz. She's almost 70 years old. Look at the transformation she's gone through. Her belly fat is gone. She's now able to tuck in her shirt. Okay. There we have it. So I'm going to leave you with that. And I want to thank you for watching tonight. And thank you so much for joining. And if you have any questions, please let us know. Lord bless you and have a good evening. Thank you.